So we're going to learn the basics of Winner. There are already some videos up there on how to hook up to real-time with your writer, and please review those. Then you can come to this one. So the first thing we're going to do is learn how to make an include file. Now an include file is something that is a template. So if you use the same sworn statement every time in Winner, then you will want to have a template so you don't have to stroke that out every time. You're just going to hit one stroke and it's going to bring in your template. So from the Winner main screen, we're going to go into the editor, and the editor is right here on the left hand side of the screen. If you hover over any of these buttons, it will tell you what it is. So the Winner editor is where we're going. So to make this template, or as we call them, include files, because you're going to be including them in your documents. For now we're going to do it manually. Later on in advanced topics, you'll figure out, we'll show you how to do that automatically during real time. So the first thing we got to do is we have to make the script. So I'm going to click on New. And I have to select a page layout. Now everybody will have this page layout in their system, and it's called Universal. So you pick Universal 1 or Universal 2. And then here we have a blank sheet of paper. And this is where you would type in whatever is it that's being repeated constantly. So I'm going to center it. I'm going to put a stop scan rather. And then now if I wanted to, and I'm going to left justify it, I'm going to start so that when you include this every time, this is going to come into your document as you've done it. I'm just going to paste one in that's already done for me. And then you're going to save this. So you hit the save button up here, and you give it a name. I'm going to call it Sworn. And I'm going to save it. Okay, that's my template. At the beginning of each day, this being some of the things that are said, when you come back to edit, you're going to want to place your cursor someplace to bring that in. So we're going to kick out of this one, and we're going to go into Demo. Make sure you click on it so it has the name down here, and then open. Now this is just a demonstration file, and you see your Q's and A's and stuff like that. So now here's the beginning of it, and before we start this day, rather when you come back to edit it, because you're doing this after the fact, instead of having to type out the sworn statement, if I hit F3 on my keyboard, F3, and I find sworn in here, there it is, and I open it, now it's going to bring in my sworn statement that I created earlier, along with the fact that direct examination has started and the name of the questioner. So that's how to make an include file. Now you can make include files for anything. Your caption, which is the caption explains what the session is for, whether it's a criminal case, a civil case, an arbitration, an appeal, anything like that. So I'm going to put my cursor back up here because I want my caption to show up before any of the sworn statements begin. I'm going to hit F3 again. And I'm going to bring in a cover letter. See, it was all included in one. So I'm just going to delete that out of there. And here is a type of cover. It gives you an explanation. It gives you a place to fill out where you're at, what it is, and then the name of the person being deposed, and then by the court reporter statement, here's your appearances, that you can fill all this out. So if you have these already preset, then all you have to do is include them in and fill them out. So that's how to create an include page, and the reason why we want to do that is we want the software to work for you. You don't want to have to type all of these things in every time. So you can have different cover sheets, as you saw that we have 3 of them. There's also certification pages which come at the end, and you'll learn more about that as you go along. So now we're going to understand moving through and editing. So here you're editing basics. We have F7, so you'll see your function keys up at the top of your keyboard, and the 3 most important ones, well, probably F5, F7, and F8. We're going to start off with F7. This allows you to scan to a scan stop. Remember earlier I said that these little parentheses here are scan stops. So whenever you hit F7 and it sees that scan stop, it's going to stop. And by stopping there, it's going to allow you to fill this in. So here we go. Now it's stopped. So now I can put in a number, delete the scan stop. If I hit F7 again, it's going to stop at the next scan stop. There are different types of scan stops, and here's one, and we call these lookup tokens. This will be for another time, as this is an advanced subject. So you just use the F7 to move forward and get you quickly to a portion of the document. We're going to hit F7 again. And hit F7 again, and we just keep moving. Now, this particular scan stop is what we call a conflict. So it can be one thing or another. You, your, there. Those are all types of conflicts where you can have the software stop and allow you to pick it. So in this case, we're going to say the plaintiff. And so that I don't have to really take my mouse and move it up, as you can see, the 1 and the 2 have an underline on them. So I can hit 1 or 2. We're going to be the defendant, and you'll see that it has changed and already moved to the next scan stop. And you can fill this out. And then this is also a lookup token, again, an advanced topic. So now if I hit F7 again, and we can continue. And again, if you see here, I'm hitting F7, and it's already choosing for me, because it saw Lisa, and I can hit the Enter key, and it will choose that. Now, as you see, it already bounced forward through to the next scan stop. These are untranslates. So your different types of scan stops are just your plain scan stop where you're filling in information, your conflict scan stops, your lookup tokens, which is, like I said, an advanced topic, and then your untranslates. So what's happening when I'm doing this is I have it set up in my software to where I want the software to auto-advance when I'm globaling. So I've told, by making this, by checking this and making it active, when I hit F7, F7 will come in and open up my globals window for me. Now, if I want to choose the next global in this outline, it's part of the outline, then I hit F8 again. And now I can hit the Enter key and it will go into your personal or main dictionary. I can hit Alt-J so to go to the job dictionary. The other button is for these dictionaries that are down here. Now, some people like to keep different dictionaries for different things. If you are somebody who likes to keep your medical dictionaries, your technical dictionaries, your legal dictionaries, your financial dictionaries, if you're a captioner, it might be a football team or a basketball team that you're going to keep separate. And you don't want this to go into your personal dictionary. You want it to go into your specialized dictionary. So then you would select that dictionary here and hit Alt-O or click on Other, and that will go into that dictionary. Dump means you're never going to use this word again. Maybe somebody made it up. It's not going anywhere. You're just getting rid of it. This is not going to replace once is not going into the dictionary. It's just replacing the word. And cancel just means you're going to kick out of here. Below our other dictionaries is instant update. Important to have that on, especially for new students, because this means that your dictionary entry, when you global it in, and when we talk about globaling, we're talking about resolving an untranslate and inserting it directly into your main dictionary for use again next time. So make sure you have that checked. The steno and text here just means what context you want the software to use. Do you want it to use context by text or context by steno? That really is a choice, a personal choice, so you might want to try it one way and then come back and try it a different way. These suggestions are based in part of the type of dictionary that's installed with Winner. I recommend the expanded dictionary. That's 180,000 words in it, whereas the standard has slightly less, about half. Add misstrokes and current section only. These are advanced topics. We'll cover those later. Down here are different types of commands. Now, for captioners, this is kind of cool because you don't have to know what the command is. And I can just double click and you'll see that it pops it up here. And that's what I want it to do. So as you get more advanced into your captioning portion, you'll get a lot more of these informational things gone through so that you guys can understand how to use this. We've got morphologicals, which are suffixes, you see, final ing. We have them in brackets because it's a command. And what that command says is that if I have the word stop and I come back with my final G for my ing, it's now going to follow the rules of English. And the rules of English are I have to double the consonant. So that's another thing where you're making the software work for you. And I am going to say enter, and that's now gone in to my dictionary. And as you can see, it is now F7'd or automatically advanced the cursor to the next thing that I can update. Okay, I'm going to try that again. F7. I can say, what is this? Now this is two strokes that I want. You'll see the final ER here. And I'm just going to stop right quick on this one. And I'm going to right click on this one, and this is ER. And that's more of a prefix. So the right click allows you to see what it is in the dictionary. I can actually go into tweak entry. Sorry, I don't have this dictionary anymore. And go in here and modify this. Let's say I don't want that. I want it to be something else. I can change it that way too. And that is a direct change into the dictionary. So again, if I was coming here and I found that maybe this was misspelled or that's not really what I want it to do, I can just hit the F8 button and it'll open my global window. And if I want to take the stroke back in back of it, I can hit F8 again. So this is supposed to be writer. And again, I'm going to hit the enter key so it goes into my dictionary. Now because I didn't hit F7, it didn't advance, it just stopped. In some schools of thought, they say go through and resolve all your untranslates first. So you would just F8 through the whole thing, sorry, F7 through the whole thing until you've got all your untranslates resolved, and then you go back up to the top and you edit line by line. You'll figure out what works for you. I'm going to hit F7 again, and let's say, I need the stroke before it to be part of this entry. So I can hit Shift and then F8, and that'll go back. But if I also want the stroke behind it, I can hit F8 again, and it'll pick up the stroke behind it. If I made a mistake, you can come right here and contract either way. I'm going to close the command window down here. Alright, and I can click on personal, or I can hit Alt-P, or I can hit Enter. And there it goes. And so that takes us to the end of the file. If you have access to myprocat.com, there is in there a quick start guide. There's one for quick start guide case pad, but the one you guys want for beginners is quick start guide, and download that. It's a PDF, and you can print that out, and it'll have all kinds of little shortcuts and stuff that you can learn that the software does. Alright, so now I know most of you will be doing real time to yourselves, so you may not need to know how to translate a job, but we're going to go ahead and go there. So I'm going to close this window now, back up my Winner main screen. I'm going to go into the translator. This is real-time translation. And this is where you would do your real-time, but it's also where you can translate a file that you've read in off your writer. Let's say you were just doing practice at home and didn't have a computer, or you weren't connected to the computer, but you want to translate the file that you've read in. Then you would go here. So you want to hit steno file. In the case name and case program dictionary, those are advanced topics. So we'll discuss those later. In here are all the job dictionaries that I've used previously. Now, if I have an ongoing case and I want to use the previous day's dictionary because I've already globaled things to it, and remember, the object of the game is to make the software work for you, you pull the day before's dictionary in by dragging and dropping it. Alright. Alright. So now I'm going to hit translate, and I think I'm going to select demo. Okay, this has already been translated, so we'll get some extra messages here. And yes, I want to translate again. For my purposes, no. And you'll see it start giving you your translate rates. So we also have job stats, which if you click View, Show Panels, and select Job Stats, you'll get some information. Now, because this was in a regular translator and not in real time, these are probably not going to be worth too much because the translator goes super fast. But the information you do get is total words, total strokes, and your percentage of untranslates, or how many untranslates there are. So that's kind of cool just to keep an eyeball on it and also see how fast you're writing. It's good to know. And so that's translating a job.